Awesome family. My name is Eliali in this incarnation. I am here today to talk about the energies of this next week. So we have many transits that are like an extension of what we have experimenting these last days. These last days. Sorry, I am I am a little mixed up today with the languages. Well, first thing today, June 9th, we have the perfection of the square between the Sun in Gemini and Saturn in Pisces. And this is something that we have experimenting since the last new moon in Gemini. Also, Venus did a square with Saturn yesterday. So this is about assuming a decision that is linked with building something in the long term. This is about commitment with something. Maybe we are feeling this pressure to decide or to assume a direction. And it is also linked with something that our inner self wants to express through our identity. This is very linked with something that we came here to experiment and to do. But also, the Sun in Gemini wants us to practice being more flexible in relation with this decision. Many times we could be so rigid about the things that we have to assume because this is a square and this has a certain labor, to do in order to assume this decision. Well, it is important to practice being more flexible and to understand that we can carry on this thing on the long term, in many ways that we can practice like playing with life. And even if this is about assuming a decision that is focused on the long term, transcending like the immediate satisfaction, we can enjoy of this. We can enjoy of this because Saturn in Pisces is inviting us to build something that is in alignment with our soul. So, sorry, I'm going to close the door because there is a lot of noise. Well, the window. Well, this is something that we are going to feel practically the whole week, and this tension with Saturn is at the same time coexisting with the tension that Mars is creating with Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. So today, Mars is entering in Taurus. And this is a very different energy because Mars in Aries is, the spark, the sacred spark that is initiating everything. It is about courage, and I am going to do this. It is very linked with beginnings, The energy of Mars in Taurus is more like I'm going to take time to do this. I'm going to give form. Something very nice of Mars in Taurus is the perseverance. It's an energy that can, put the energy in a constant way in order to give form in the matter. The energy of Mars in Aries not always operates like that. It's like the initial spark, but then once the fire has started, we have to sustain that energy. So Mars in Taurus is a very nice transit to do that. But something that Mars in Taurus has is the resistances to the change. And this could be, something that it is important to transcend because we are experimenting already since the past week, this square with Pluto retrograde in Aquarius, which is linked with a change precisely in which we have to assume the power to face fears. For some people, it is about Mars in Taurus wants to initiate and wants to invest energy in things that are contributing with value in our lives, that are contributing with the well-being, that are contributing with enjoyment too, because this is part of the energy of Taurus. But for some people, this could be linked with getting out of a space in which there is abuses of power. There are abuses of power, or where they don't feel appreciated or valued. This could be linked with this energy. And the fact that we have to assume this power and make this change, if we are very, very resistant to do that, since outside could show us, that we are operating in that way with ourselves. So abuses of power could present on the outside. In the collective level, we are seeing things differently. But it is important to understand that the more we channel our energy in the best way possible, aligned with our inner self, this will also collaborate with the collective. Squares between Mars and Pluto retrograde in Aquarius could be linked with abuses of power in the big spheres, linked with economy, linked with the agriculture, the earth, because this is very linked with the energy of Taurus too. Also, abuses of power could be given in social media and with technology and these kind of things. So the more we are focusing our energy to transcend these dynamics of manipulation and these kind of things, the more that we can contribute to that, collective co-creation. Because this square also is about materializing something, is about giving form to something. With this connection with Pluto retrograde in Aquarius, which is very linked with the new humanity, with materializing the new humanity in here. So, well, I think it is a very interesting transit that we are going to feel the whole week, as I said. On the other hand, from June 11th to 13th, we have the perfection of the square between Mercury in Gemini and Saturn in Pisces, which again is an extension of the transits that we have experimented these last days. And this what do we have to take in account with this? Well, we still have to assume that decision. This is going to be like pressure to assume a direction, to restrict the options. Also, this Mercury in Gemini, one of the polarities of this Mercury could be distraction. Distraction, staying with people. I don't know the word right now in English, of sociabilizar, I don't know. Well, yeah, staying with people, or distraction, consuming a lot of information that is not worthy, that is not nutritious for our mind, these kind of things, in order to avoid assuming that decision. And that could manifest again since on the outside that are pushing us to align with our inner self. And also, other thing that I wanted to comment about squares in general of Mercury, tensions between Mercury and Saturn, is that the mind could, filter reality from this very negative perception. It is like feeling that everything is a burden, or assuming the victim polarity, which is a tendency many times with tensions with Saturn. Feeling that everything is a burden or everything is very difficult, and the mind is closing the possibilities, when it enters in that kind of perceptions. So it is important to take this in account in order to understand that when that happens, it is the automatic pilot, and that is not real. It's an illusion. So we can come back to our inner self and being open to the possibilities again, and being more flexible about this decision or about this thing that we have to develop in time, about the things the steps that we have to give, and the commitment also that this requires. But we can be more flexible. We can play with this construction and find ways that are suitable for us. That's what I am trying to say. Well, also, the last thing that I wanted to comment is that Mercury, we are going to feel this from June 12th until 15th, but this is perfected on 14th. We have the conjunction between Mercury and the Sun in Gemini, which is a very nice transit, because the Sun brings to the consciousness. The Sun illuminates. So if there were indecisiveness, if there were doubts that many times are created by the rational mind in resistance to hear the voice of the soul, I always repeat that because it is very like this. The mind many times operate like that. With this conjunction, illumination comes to our mental processes. So we are able to assume this decision, or maybe if we have to communicate something, or if we have to, enable a conversation with someone in order to clarify things, this could be a very nice moment. Or if we have to, I don't know, make a project with other people, it is a good moment to have conversations with other people and to start to create the project. Well, family, that is all. I am going to continue during this week. Thank you, everyone, and see you in the next video. Ciao, ciao.